How do we stay productive while working from home during lockdown? To break it down, there's going to be three main areas which we're going to focus on. It's going to be to-do lists, projects, and how to refocus. I think that one's going to be a big one because we often overlook that when talking about productivity and how to stay focused. So we're starting off with to-do lists, and for this one we're going to need to start off with the end of the day. At the end of every single day, what I like to do is to do my to-do list for the next day. Why do I do it at the end of the day? Because it really helps me clear my mind and get down all the little thoughts and little things that I want to get done tomorrow. So it doesn't just help me clear my mind, it helps me sleep much better, which is one of the big things that I've been trying to focus on recently. So it really helps me when I'm done with a day of work, I sort of sit down for 5-10 minutes and I'll write down what I want to get done tomorrow. I like to keep my list to a maximum of 5 tasks on it. It not only helps me clear my mind and focus on the rest of the day, it's great for my morning routine as well because I already know in my mind what I'm doing as soon as I sit down on my desk. I don't leave my to-do list to one side, I put it right in the middle of the desk where I'm going to sit down the next morning, and that's the first thing I look at. Another thing that I like to do with a to-do list is I like to have it in order of what I'm going to get done. It may take a little bit longer to do the planning at the end of the day, but then there's no brain power involved in deciding what you need to do that morning. So you sit down, your cup of coffee, you're ready to go for the day, and your task number one is item number one on the list. You don't have to spend time thinking about how long each task is going to take, when you're going to do it. You've already done all that the night before. It really helps you just crack on with these tasks, and almost when you're doing your morning routine or you're waking up, you're showering, you're thinking about that one task that's at the top of the list. So it really helps you focus in. And what I also like to do is that first task in the morning is often the hardest, or a task that I don't want to do the most. If there's a task that I've been putting off for a while, that's the task that goes at the top of the list. Because then I can't do task 2 until I've done task 1. So what I'll try and do is stack those tasks. If I enjoy task 2, task 1 needs to be the task that I don't want to do that day. This really helps me get going with the day, and often I end up finding that I do enjoy task 1. With my to-do list, we do it the night before. We put it in order of how we're going to do it. I think that one's a really good one because it takes away that decision that you need to make in the morning. What I also like to do is I don't write down to-do list. What I do is I call it my get-to-do list. It's a bit of a mindset shift. It makes me more grateful for what I get to do, especially when you're working for yourself and you have no one telling you what to do. For me, it's all about control, and I love being able to do what I want each day. So to make it feel less of a have to do stuff, it's more of stuff I get to do this. So today, task number 1 is film this video. And I love that. I get to choose what I get to do each day. So that's why I call it my get to do list, because I get to film this video, I get to post on LinkedIn, I get to write content, I get to plan videos, I get to do client work, I get to do all these things because of what I've done. It's one of those little changes that drastically improves, not my life, it drastically improves my mindset. Whenever I'm sort of struggling to do tasks, I'll read through my list and I see, oh, I get to do this. It just triggers, it's like something that's a little bit different from the norm, and it just triggers that positive thought and that positive attitude in your mind that helps me get on with those tasks that maybe you don't want to do so much. When it comes to the tasks and managing the time during the day, I personally don't like to time block. I don't like having certain amount of hours to do video planning. I don't like having half an hour to plan content. At the end of the day, it's going to take me as long as it's going to take. My structure of the day is based around tasks maybe that I have occurring daily, weekly, monthly. And last Friday of the month, I'll review my data from my content. Every day I do daily outreach, reach out to some new people. That's one of my tasks that structures my day for me. Each week I have a target to film 1 video. So on the start of the week, I'll do the plan. Towards the middle of the week, I'm filming, and then towards the end of the week, it's edited and done. So those are the tasks that help me structure my week. For me, time blocking doesn't work. I like to have certain tasks that I know I need to get done. And that's how the day structures. I'm not allowed to move on to the next task until task 1's done. That is how I structure my day, rather than going through time blocking and scheduling, because sometimes it takes me longer and sometimes it takes me less time. I've tried time blocking, it doesn't work for me, but that doesn't mean it won't work for you. try it, test it, but don't just do it once, because that's such a small amount of data to base your routine off. Try it for a week, try it for a month. These things that I've been doing, I know work for me because I've tried and tested them. Try and test what works for you. Try a few of these methods that I'm saying. If they don't work, great, try something else. If they do work, brilliant. Keep going, keep still trying new things. Just because something works doesn't mean it can't be better. When it comes to big chunky projects that I know are going to take a little bit of time and that seem quite daunting, what I like to do to keep me motivated, to keep me staying productive while working on these projects, I like to break them down into smaller tasks. What we do is, let's look at a video, for example. It may take a week to produce a video, but I know that I have to do a plan. I have to film the video, I have to edit the video, and then I have to submit the video. What do I have to do first? I have to plan the video. That task doesn't take me too long. I can break it down. There, we've broken down this big, scary video project into 4 tasks already, and that's what works for me. I'll write down the project, and then we'll break it down into a step by step process. As you can tell, there's a theme with me. It's step by step. I can do one task and move on to the next. And that's what works for me, because I know I've tried and I've tested it. When you have a bit of a project that might take a little bit longer than a couple of hours, try the Pomodoro technique. It doesn't always work for me. I don't use it through my whole day, but when I know I've got something that's going to take maybe 2 or 3 hours, I know that I need to break it down, take breaks to make sure I can reset my mind and perform to the best of my ability. So this is where I've tried these techniques for the whole day. I've noticed that the Pomodoro doesn't work for all my stuff. The Pomodoro technique is you break the day into 25-minute stints with 5-minute breaks. You work no distractions for 25 minutes and then a 5-minute break. And that's brilliant for tasks that are a bit longer, a bit chunky, but quite a lot of my tasks throughout the day can be done in half hour, 20 minutes. So the Pomodoro doesn't quite work. I feel like I'm breaking too much. But when I have the bigger tasks, that definitely works. So I found this out by trying and testing. I tried it for a whole day, for a week. I tried Pomodoroing out my day, and it didn't work. But I didn't just write it off. It worked for some tasks. So now I know that when those tasks arise, I can implement that strategy and use the Pomodoro technique to the best of my ability. I know I'm talking a lot about myself, but rather than talking about tips that I don't know about and tips that I don't know work, I'm telling you from my experience of what I've done. That's the key thing. Just go out there, try and test these few things. I might do a bit of a write-up of this video with a few things that you can go and implement and test. Let me know if you want to see that in the comments down below. One part of my day that I used to really often overlook was getting back on track. I found that I was really good at being productive, really good at staying motivated while working from home. I found it really easy to crack on with tasks, but as soon as I lost that focus for the task, that was it. It was blown out of the water. And what I find a lot of people do is they're all about these tips for staying productive, staying motivated, but why not try and improve something that you're not good at the moment, rather than completely change? This is what we call like a low-hanging fruit. It's something that we can improve, that we know there's going to be massive benefit. It's a nice, easy, quick fix. What I like to focus on is refocusing. What do you do when you get distracted, when you're trying to get back on task? You know you need to, but you're still sitting there with the endless scroll on social media, just putting off and procrastinating. How do you get back in the zone, back in the mind frame to get that work done? I know it's random, I know it might not work for you, but what I do is when I find that I've got a little bit distracted, I'm sort of just sitting there, I've got that after lunch slump and a bit dull and not got much energy, what I try and do is do a quick 5 seconds, 20 seconds of like a high intensity workout, whether it's I drop down and do 20 press ups or start running on the spot for a little bit. It sounds so cheesy, but it works for me. Quick, I'm struggling to get my mind going to come up with some video ideas. Quick, get down, do some press ups. I'll get the blood pumping back through your body, it gets it back up into your brain, it gets you going again. I found the other day I tried it out, I came up with like 5 video plans in like 10 minutes. So, but also don't put yourself under the pressure to always perform at peak level, because then you're always going to be underperforming. It's okay to perform at 80%, it's okay to perform at 60%, it's okay to perform at 110%, but not all the time. Another thing I find that helps me refocus and get back on track is to get away from the screens for a little bit. It's something you can implement throughout the day and when you're not feeling too focused or when you're not feeling in the right headspace to sit there and do some work. I like to try and take as many tasks away from the screen as I can. Doing my first draft of a video script or coming up with a concept, all done on paper. I go sit somewhere else, write it down, hash it out on paper. It's so nice to just get that break from the screen where you're spending anywhere between 8, 10, 12 hours at a screen a day. It's so crucial to try and get away from these screens as much as possible. So where you've got your tasks, where you might be doing some content marketing, some writing some posts or doing some planning, try and do it on a pad. Yes, you know that you're going to have to write it up eventually, but that's less time that you're spending at the screen. These screens, they're great for what they do, but because we're at them all day, it gets so boring sometimes. So try and take yourself out of the situation of a screen and go and get it down on a bit of pen and paper, write it down, hash the idea out. It's okay to have to write it up later, but it's just nice to get a bit of a break from the screen. So then, when we're feeling less focused, less motivated and less productive while at home, take yourself away from the screen, go and have a 5-minute break, reset, read a book, do something different. Just stay away from the screen, mentally prepare yourself to get back to work. I find this one sometimes works, sometimes doesn't, but this is the thing, it works for me, it might not work for you. So go and try it, test it, but please do it more than once before you write it off. Please do it more than once before you say it's the best thing ever, because it might just be that one-off situation that it works. We have to try, test, implement and track it. Maybe make a spreadsheet of what habits you're trying, different productivity tips and stuff you're trying to do each day to stay focused. Journaling's a big one that helps with tracking stuff like this. You can go back, read over its qualitative data. But this getting away from the screens is so crucial because we're at them all day, and it's so hard at the moment as well when there's literally nothing else to do but sit at a screen. You finish work for the day, you go watch TV. You get up in the morning, you're scrolling on your phone. Screens are in front of us all day. So where we can, to take ourselves away from them, that is absolutely crucial. Not only does it help your mental health, but it also helps your productivity, your focus. It just helps clear your mind. Sometimes a blank piece of paper and just go write down some thoughts. Just taking yourself away from the screen for as much as possible, or as much as physically possible throughout the day, is such a good tip to help refocus and stay productive throughout the day while working from home. So to break it down, what we've got a big focus on the to-do list, trying different orders, trying to structure your to-do list in order of priority. That's a good one for me. Calling it a get to-do list is also a very good one, and having tasks on there that are manageable. When it comes to bigger projects, we break it down into tasks that are digestible, that are easy to get done. Rather than looking at these projects as a whole, we look at them as small, manageable, bite-sized chunks, and refocusing, getting back on track when we have a little bit of a break or when we're having that afternoon slump, to try a little bit of exercise, do something different, take you away from that working environment for a little bit, whether it's going to planning a video on a notepad and pen, whether it's going to doing 20, 30 press-ups for 10 minutes. Take yourself away from the situation and prepare yourself to come back. At the end of the day, what works for you might not work for me, and what works for me might not work for you. But you have to try, you have to keep an open mind. I'm always trying new tricks. I know what works for me right now, but I'm always open and testing and trying new things. And there's no given playbook to this. There's no way that everyone is going to work the same way. Everyone thinks differently, everyone works differently, everyone has different ways their brain works. So there's going to be different ways to stay focused, different ways to stay productive during this lockdown. Just want to say thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate you sticking around, listening to me waffle on for a while. So yeah, we've got another video dropping next week. Stay tuned for that, and I'll catch you in a bit. Sweet.